What's good, everybody? Sherman Webb Middlebrooks, a lifelong Buffalo resident and full-time black man, back at you with another episode of Igniting Hope Radio, and I have a very, very special guest. This might be the preview of something special coming forward, so I want all to give a warm welcome in the chat and in the comments to my sister, my homegirl, Athena. How you doing? Right, make some noise. Make some noise.
How you doing, brother? Thank you for having me.
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining me on this platform. I look forward to a great conversation. Every time I talk with you, I know if I listen, I'm going to learn something. So tell the people who don't know you and who you are and what you do, who you are and what you do out here in the city.
Okay. Hey, Buffalo. My name's Athena. I am a small community developer because I only develop one building. And I am currently pursuing my doctorate degree in engineering education at the University of Buffalo.
Oh, so soon she going to be Dr. Athena. I love that. I love that. All right. So this is more than just a guest, so she's really like family. She's also part of the Emerging Leaders family as well, so shout out to OB. That's one of the ways that we got connected. So we here to talk and have a conversation. We're not here to argue about politics. We're just here to talk about how regular people in the city of Buffalo can get involved. One of the things we believe at the Buffalo Center for Health Equity, and I believe myself personally, is we have to provide access to information and resources for people to become civically engaged and involved. And my sister Athena is the queen of that. She know about any and everything that's going on in the city, and she's a research queen as well. So she's very knowledgeable, and anything that she says, she loves to back up with facts. So let's get right into the show. So why do you think people should even care? Why do you care about what's going on in the city of Buffalo, and why are people disconnected?
I care about the city of Buffalo because I spent a lot of my life here, but these are my roots. And it's a black city, right?
It is.
It's a city that you can say where there are black roots, right? But because of that, I grew fond of Buffalo when I came here, and I also noticed that it was like old Oakland. So I'm originally from Oakland, California.
Okay.
And I lived through gentrification of Oakland. I'm like, ooh, this is Oakland before we were gentrified. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, black people still have opportunity to build and develop and, make systems. So that's kind of what made me want to get involved. And when I did, I started seeing how everything was connected. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That's interesting, because I think that's kind of like how we met. Because when I first met you, I'm like, I thought I knew a lot of people in the city who was moving and shaking and doing stuff, and like she came out of nowhere like a ball of fire, like all this energy and enthusiasm and knowledge and holding people accountable. And I'm like, I like her. Whatever she got going on, like I want to sit next to her. Like I want to see, like I rock with her just because your energy and your spirit was so authentic. And like the one thing that like the sense I got was when you came back to Buffalo, because that's when I realized that, oh, okay, like she came here from Oakland, and like every time I seen you weren't afraid to stand tall on your own, but you were always like, well, where everybody else at? Like, where the people at? Yeah.
It's us,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's us or everything. You know what I mean? And I just think we need to bring that back to community.
Right.
I think a lot of people in our community, because of some of our experiences, don't think that we can get into politics, or don't think that we understand the systems. And that's not really the case. Like, we're living it, right? We live the experiences. We live the health equity issues, right? And so being able to take your experiences and apply them to law is how things change.
So I think that's a great transition. So what do you think is the biggest misconception everyday citizens, especially folks in our community, what's the biggest misconception people might hold about getting involved locally in politics? Or civic engagement, community organizing, any of the things that you do?
I think it takes time, and I don't think that we think we have the time, right?
Okay.
But even when you take time to gossip a little bit because we got a little rumor mill around. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with
Yeah,
it.
that happens everywhere. We're no
Right?
different than anywhere else.
But word of mouth is what moves Buffalo, right? And
Yeah.
that word of mouth is also what moves our councilmen. And word of mouth is also what moves our legislators, right? Because if the people who we talk to also go vote, or if the people we talk to show up to the BHA meeting, you know what I mean? Whether you're a BHA tenant or not, it shows solidarity, right? But the democratic process, and I don't think people understand, is one person we put in place to represent our needs, right? Not the
Right.
needs that they want, but the needs that the community has. And we can still do that. I think some people think because generationally we haven't been heard, right? I think some of our seniors said we did that. We went to all the meetings. We talked to all the people, right?
Yeah.
That's the first thing I say when I go to the meetings. I'm here representing the seniors who've been to all the meetings, who've done all the things, and now it's my turn, right? But we have a different perspective on how things move, and I think that we have different resources. They didn't have the internet. We got the internet. We got Chat GPT.
Talk about it.
You know what I mean?
Talk about
we
it.
can figure it out, and that's just me and you, right?
Right.
But when it's a couple of us, when we look at different parts of the system, healthcare, when we look at development, right? Can you run a hospital without a hospital building?
No.
Can you have police driving down the street without the street full of potholes?
No, that's dangerous even for them.
All of
I don't want
these
my ambulance coming down the block with the hitting no potholes.
doing
now,
a shake and bump.
Yeah, now my ambulance need an ambulance. Yeah, we don't need that.
These are main streets. But
Right.
all of these things are decided on pieces of paper, black and white.
I'm not gonna lie. As somebody who frequents North Buffalo quite often in areas by the museums and areas where predominantly affluent people and the white people who live in the city of Buffalo live.
Affluent.
I'm still shocked and surprised to see the amount of potholes that's there. So my whole thing is if they don't care about what's going on here or they slow to move here with the people where there's actually a financial tax base of people with bread in the city, then they definitely ain't caring about the people who just renting or the people who ain't showing up to vote. If the people who affluent ain't getting their needs met, I know our people are way down on the list of priorities. And
But are we?
but
are we? I don't think. Well,
okay,
and so let's
Go ahead.
change perspective just a little bit, right?
talk about it.
Are we way down on the low perspective poll? How many news articles have come out about the changes that are supposed to be happening in Buffalo? All of the $1 million that are supposed to be coming to Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
Over and over. So we are a priority, right?
I see where you're going with this.
Right.
I see where you're going with this.
There is a priority, right? Because
I see where you're
they
going.
come out and they say, look at what we're doing. Look at what we're doing. Look at what we're doing. The problem is that we've been gaslit,
Okay.
right, for so long that we believe the news too without holding people's feet to the fire,
Right.
right? A lot of people say, well, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the handbooks and the rules, right?
Yeah, you don't play about that paperwork.
Because business is run by rules. Business is run by services. We all have protocols to follow, and they're put in place so that human decision doesn't regulate. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have to vote. We have to decide. There is a gold standard as to how things should operate, and it's in paper, right? Equity is not some big made-up idea. Equity is based off of the historical fact that black people in Buffalo have been redlined. Because black people in Buffalo have been redlined, meaning that you can only buy homes in the not affluential part of the city.
Right.
That means my generational wealth is less than some of those who are getting passed down homes in those affluential parts, right? And so in order to make things equitable, fair, try to make them just, right, legally,
Right.
justice, right, they're putting out grants, particularly for the east side, to do our sidewalks, right, to do our lights, to repair our homes, right?
Okay,
I believe
okay.
our mayor just said, oh, we're going to fix the grant. We're stopping the moratorium on demolishing homes. Thank you. I appreciate it. Now, can we go back by the rules that says for every house you demolish, you have to build a house, right?
I get what you're saying. So like, it's they doing just enough, but they ain't following it to a T.
No.
They doing just enough to get by.
Well, they're doing just enough for it to, in my opinion,
Okay.
they're doing just enough for it to fulfill the system in which they're putting in place.
Gotcha.
In my opinion, the system is gentrification, whether they want to call it that or whether they don't want to call it that, whether they want to call it urban planning, whether they want to call it whatever the engineering definition for the word is, right? What they're doing is they're demolishing houses because of blight.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a word.
that was.
So they're demolishing houses because of blight. However, the blight has now become our vacant lots. And on top of that,
Right.
there's vacant lots. There's rats and running through the vacant lots.
Sure
right?
is.
And now we're having a housing problem.
Yeah, sure is.
So those same houses that were demolished and not replaced per state law that was giving the money, right? It says if you demolish, you put one up.
You must build. Okay.
Okay. That's taken us to these health equity issues. Now we have people who are homeless. Now we have people
Right.
who have rat infestations, right? Now we have legacy residents. And when I say legacy residents, I mean that my mother or my father, right, or my grandparents were Buffalo residents, right?
Right.
They had property here and they lost it in that process of eminent domain
Yeah.
during the redlining, right? So it's okay to stop the moratorium, but how do you make right by the people who have been wronged? Where's the equity in the process?
Huh. Wow, you toss a lot out there. So no, it's great, and this is why we're having this conversation, folks. So like, whatever part of this conversation resonates with you, that's what we want you to get into the chat. That's what we want you to get into the comments and talk about. But take it beyond like the virtual space, and this is what we want you to get out and become involved and to learn more about what's going on in the city, because a lot of stuff that you're talking about is public information, but most of us are too stressed and pressed with the day-to-day grind, hustle, and bustle in order to be able to access this information.
Property.
And then, to be honest with you, a lot of us can access the information, but like, are we really able to process it? So once we get the information, what are we really doing with it? You feel me? So I think that provides a different challenge in itself. So I'm also curious too, because there is so much going on right now. What's something happening? I'm thinking emerging leaders, public narrative.
Oh,
you know,
you know?
you got the story of self, us, right?
Yeah.
You just broke down who you was and talk about us. So what's something that's happening right now that people should care about or know about but don't, in your opinion?
So in my opinion, right, the public charter, the city charter is open. Right?
Okay. What is the city charter, and break it down to me like I'm your cousin on the block who don't vote.
Okay, cuz the city charter are the rules and the regulations that the people who operate our city have to follow.
Okay.
Okay, so
It's like the city constitution?
I would say that's the closest.
Okay.
Right? We have a city constitution, but we don't have a city bill of rights.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Constitution gives you all of these different laws that our governing bodies should abide by. Abide by. But it's legal jargon, right? Which leaves it up to a legal determination, up to interpretation.
Right.
And so the interpretation that people have been following is kind of why we're opening up the city charter, or why one of our council members and our previous acting mayor decided to open up the charter, right?
Okay.
Because one of our council seats was vacant. Okay, so that means a whole representation of Buffalo residents didn't have any representation in the city council. Whatever was going on in their district, they didn't have a voice. Why was that? Well, we don't have any at-large members in the council anymore.
Oh, we don't?
No, there's no at-large members. So
Okay.
when somebody steps down...
Oh, that's the school board I'm thinking about.
Which, if it's good for the school board, it should be good for the council, right?
Makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me.
In my opinion.
In my humble opinion.
In my humble,
right?
non-professional opinion.
Yeah, that part. But on top of that, those are just some of the changes. The city charter just allots what we can and can't do because our city government is broken into three portions. Okay. The Common Council, the executive branch, and our comptroller, who is supposed to watch the money and how it goes in and out, right?
Okay.
We vote in those folks.
Right.
Right. They're supposed to work for us. How they work for us is governed by the charter.
Okay.
Okay. What they can and can't do, how they play nice in the sandbox is governed by that charter.
Okay.
Okay. It's also how the city operates. And so the Emerging Leaders 25, Open Buffalo, and our group of leaders have come out with a participatory budget proposal, right?
Okay.
We've proposed.
Give them something to start with.
Well, I used to be a tax credit auditor, so what they say is they say start with the hardest restrictions, right?
Okay.
That means all the programs that are not as stringent should be covered under this highest standard. This gold standard should cover everybody.
Okay.
So we start with the gold standard. Now, will people go for it? I'm not sure. But does it provide gold coverage for the people? Yes, right? So like I said, gentrification, that's why I'm here. That's what I would like to stop from happening in Buffalo. Right?
Got you. I'm with you. So
right?
is the center. Now I can speak for the center when it comes to that.
Now, gentrification is bad.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
Right?
It's a huge social determinant of health because when a person doesn't have stable or secure housing, in our reality, like what I learned early on in my just community organizing careers, like that increases stress, which increases cortisol, which leaves you susceptible for like medical and health issues. So like, I'm like, how does housing increase people like disease and people dying early? But like the stress of not knowing where you're gonna rest your head, like when you were kids, you don't think about that because it ain't really your responsibility unless you're really in it, going from pillar to post, right? But like once you become an adult, it's like, oh, this and what I'm gonna eat every day is like the most important things in the world. Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
And some of the oldest research points to how important it is, right? And so social determinants of health aren't like just pulled out of willy-nilly.
Right.
Like these are determinants of health that's based on Maslow hierarchy of needs, right? That says love and belonging in a community.
It's important.
It's important.
It's important.
It's important. I need my people. I need my people to be people. I need my people to have access to resources, right?
Yes.
I need to look at Sherman and be like, Sherman, all right. You know what I mean? I need to look at my people and be like, okay.
And that comes through shared experience.
It comes through shared experience, right? But when people say, well, how does participatory budgeting help that? Well, who's controlling our development? We talked about earlier about the 47 houses that were supposed to be built that were not built.
Right.
I mean, I can keep throwing them out there. Benlick, which is our board, they're building houses with $10 million of Buffalo ARPA funds. They're starting in Cheektowaga. Okay. We can talk about the police station, the police firing station that's coming up that didn't have any community approval. How are these things happening? All of these things are determining how we experience our community.
It's very true. It's very true.
On top of the fact that because of the location and closeness to the transportation in our community, this area of Buffalo dies at 3 times a higher rate than the rest of Erie County.
So how exactly can we get people involved? And if somebody was to come to you and be like, okay, I'm a cousin from the block. They went to community college.
Yeah.
I went to community college. That's what I get. Okay, what you want me to do? How I show? What I'm supposed to do? What I'm supposed to do? I want to help. What I'm supposed to do? Where I'm supposed to go? Who I'm supposed to talk to?
Well, as of right now, there is a Charter Commission meeting on Monday, April 13th.
Okay.
We are currently circulating a Google form just for support. Hey, what's your name?
Okay.
What district do you live in? And do you support participatory budgeting? Do you support us having a say in the future of Buffalo?
Word.
Right?
We can put the link to that in the description, y'all.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Make sure you send it.
But those are the simple things. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be on the ballot. What
Right.
that does is that shows a collective unity that something needs to change.
Yeah.
We have collective bargaining units. We have a citizens control board already, but nobody on that board is elected by the community. It's elected by those three positions: the common council, the executive, which is our mayor, the comptroller. No, I'm sorry. Instead of the comptroller, it's actually the school board that gets to put people on.
So they're appointed.
They're appointed.
Okay.
But none of them is appointed by people who want the best for the community.
And that goes against the foundation of our Constitution, which tells us the government derives its power to govern from the consent of the people.
From the consent of the people.
So we didn't consent to these people governing us.
Well, I think that what is important about how people view voting in Buffalo, right?
Okay.
There is approximately 285,000 people in Buffalo.
Right.
Approximately 50 to 60,000 people choose our mayor.
That is true. That is I be seeing that
And
on the
even-
on the election nights.
Look at the numbers. If we have a population of 285,000, right?
There's more people that go to a Bills game than that. Go ahead.
And we can remove some of the kids, right, who's under 18, who's still in college, 3 or 4, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That still leaves about 100,000 people. So only half of the people are making decisions for our community, right? Even less number than that choose our common council.
And even less coming out to the school board.
Right, but all of these things determine how we experience our community. So if at the very least your local vote counts.
So what are some of the more specific areas that like our local vote counts and especially when it as it relates to like this idea of participatory budgeting? Because you trying to tell me that like people getting to decide where the money goes?
Yes. People other than us
All right.
get to decide how the money is spent
Okay.
through the process of one of those three governing bodies,
Okay.
through the Office of Strategic Planning.
Gotcha.
They give out a plan of what they plan to do every year to our city. Which, when you say, Athena, you're involved, that's how I kind of got involved. So after 514, a new city plan came out from the Office of Strategic Planning, and Jefferson Avenue was nowhere in there. So we just had a major catastrophe in our community.
Right down the block from where we record this at the Buffalo Center for Health Equity Studios.
Yes. The heart of
Right down the block.
what's going on, right?
Mhm.
We have all of this information and all of these people that's working towards health equity. And then we had all of these news articles and the food desert and the low pay and the mortality rate of our youth and all of these different things that are depending on the city not developing the community, right? And yet, we came out millions of dollars, and nothing happened.
Oh, man.
I think we're here 3 years later, and we still have people who were victims of that complaining, right?
Absolutely.
And
As they should.
as they should.
Rightfully so. Because if you don't speak up, people will. I don't want to use the whole phrase, being sensitive to this subject. But if you don't speak up, people will mistreat you and then say you enjoyed it.
Yes, they will. And that's why I speak up so loudly, because
Right.
even though I'm in these rooms and I'm saying the things, I'm saying them because I'm also a victim. I'm not separating myself from the experiences, right? I'm just not the person that's not going to say them. But back to that.
Right.
Back to the back to the 514 thing and the money coming out and what that has to do with development. The first thing they said is, oh, we have all of this money that's coming down to develop the community, right? That lets you know how important development is, right?
Yeah.
If your response to a a terrorist attack in a black community is to say, oh, I'm sorry that we have not increased the living standards of your community in 60 plus years. We're going to throw millions of dollars at your community to enhance the way you live because that enhances your sense of belonging.
Yeah.
It makes you feel better about walking down Jefferson and saying,
A little bit of pride.
Little bit of pride. Poke your chest out just a little bit, right? Makes a little bit of that stress, worry away. Because look at this beautiful community that I live in.
Yeah.
Right? The money never got to us. We're just now seeing the redevelopment of Jefferson Avenue this year, 3 years later.
And money dissolved, bro. Everybody had their hands in the pot. I don't know who, how, where, or why. I know some people said that they received a grant here or a grant there, or some people got some funding here. That, in my opinion, in Sherman's opinion, not in the opinion of my employer.
What you have to say.
Yeah, what I have to say. But in my opinion, wasn't really a surprise. And to me, like, with no oversight, like, what did you expect to happen?
Well, is no oversight the truth, though?
I mean, no real oversight and accountability.
No accountability. Oversight,
because,
yes.
like, when I would be in meetings, especially, like, working with the Board of Education and stuff like that in my younger days, when we would have these conversations and we would talk about accountability, I would always be like, okay, so if this don't happen, who get fired? That's all I care about. If this don't happen, who get fired? That's the true accountability. Who head rolls if this don't happen?
Well, if somebody gets fired and they just put in their friend, that's along with the same strategy, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not...
You restart the clock.
Restart the clock.
Dang. You ain't lying.
All right, let me take a break. I gotta be...
Okay, cool. Okay, so back from my break. So talk to me a little bit more about, like, participatory budgeting, if you don't have any other, like, points that you want to, like, wrap up from our last conversation.
Okay, so for me, right, I think the importance with a participatory budget, and especially for Buffalo, right, there's a lot of moving parts going on right now in Buffalo. Our leadership is expanding, and one of our common council seats out of 1, 2, and one of our legislators may be looking at taking the seats of the newly retired Crystal People-Stokes. Right?
Okay.
So we have a 2 in 9 chance of having a seat open, right, in Common Council, which brings us back to why the charter is even open in the first place, right?
Right.
It's not designed for the governing of our city. But with that, what I find important with the charter, because it came on a really short basis, on a short time frame, is that we can't have our cake and eat it too. Me, I would love for everything to be changed. You know what I mean? Participatory budgeting. Make sure that we have an extra ombudsman, somebody to help people get through the systems of the process of the city, right? Because that's very hard. Get us an extra at-large council member, somebody who can even out the voting, you know what I mean, when it comes out to it. Or play the middleman between, like, the capital issues with our mayor and how the city should change. Because, like, 25% increase in taxes, you know what I mean? So,
lot.
That's a lot. And especially...
No matter how much you got, that's a lot.
It's a lot. And like I said, I represent the seniors that's been doing this for years.
Right.
Shout out to... our senior Barbara Jeter, rest in soul, you know what I mean, who's getting our community from one hiccup to another, you know what I'm saying? A major project that's been stalled, neither here nor there. But my father, for instance, is a senior who is on a low income budget, you know what I mean? Social Security.
Fixed.
He very fixed, right? If his income goes up, his food stamps go down. If his food stamps go up, his income go down, right? So it's not like it's a net sum zero. He's not getting more. And that's the situation for most of our seniors, right? Where's this 25% coming from?
Peter, to pay Paul.
Well, somebody need a black eye.
Yeah.
Paul or Peter, because the seniors can't do it.
Yeah, she just
price
can't
of-
be out here robbing people.
They can't, but their nephews, nieces, and grandkids will.
Lord, we is talking about it. You ain't lying.
And that leads right to the
You
school
ain't
to
lying.
prison pipeline.
Because remember what I was asking about? Okay, so if it ain't no summer youth job for my nephew,
So
the
let's
streets
talk
is
about
hiring.
that.
The streets is going to hire them.
There was $10 million in ARPA funds that were put forth for the communities for the community buildings to be upgraded.
Yeah.
Right? $10 million in ARPA funds. Now we're closing community centers and we're cutting off the summer youth programs.
Yeah.
Where's the $10 million? So if you're not going to increase the community centers, you're closing them,
Right.
and you cut off short the summer youth job program, what are you using the $10 million for?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
yeah.
And again, who gets in trouble? Who loses their job when the money disappears? Who's responsible for making sure it goes where it's supposed to go?
I think that's an easily Googleable
question for sure.
question.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It is. It is.
But again, when everybody's friends,
yeah, you ain't gonna tell on your friends.
not only am I not going to tell on my
At
friends,
least you ain't. Now these is the real gangsters.
I ain't mad. I didn't grow up. The hood is full of gangsters.
Supposed to be.
Supposed to be, but now what I'm saying. So I tell people this all the time. I'm not a politician. I'll speak freely. If you're going to burn the hood on the front end, at least give us a safety net on the back end.
Break that down for folks in the back.
Well, some people say you can't stop gentrification. Well, how do you increase jobs in the community? Well, all the jobs are government or healthcare or school jobs, right? Which are all tied to the same government funding.
And service,
right?
yeah.
So how do you get private equity in here? Well, private equity means that we're building houses, right? We know a whole bunch of, well, I, in my humble opinion and personally, know a whole bunch of small general contractors
Yeah.
that can build houses,
Yeah.
which one...
My cousin in L.A., he's one of them, yeah.
Okay, why isn't L.A. getting these contracts?
Oh, man.
Allegedly,
He'd be stressed, too.
okay?
He'd be stressed.
And so
He do good work.
if there's millions and millions and millions of dollars coming through the community to build houses, right? Because one, according to the money, the program grants requirements is that you demolish a house, you have to build a house.
Yeah.
Okay? You have the money to demolish a house. Now, it's my humble opinion from my memory. Now, I will Google and check it, but in the 2023 CGBG funds, they told us it was $80,000 to demolish a house. Well, 2 years later, the mayor says, oh, well, it's $20,000 to demolish a house. Well, where's the other $60,000?
Yeah. Because the prices don't usually go down for nothing.
But you own the equipment. You're not contracting out to demolish a house. Anyway.
No, this is good. This is good.
Because I can go down the rabbit hole, but ultimately, right, the ask of the participatory budgeted through development just says this simply, right? I know it's a whole bunch of legal jargon, but that's why we're not really involved, is because we're not lawyers. We don't do legal jargon, right? But it basically says this. The city of Buffalo and no other entity, right, can sell the lot, spend the money for development, right, or approve any development projects without getting a certification from this commission that should be representative of the community. So the first thing that everybody says is, well, where's the money going? What happened to the development money? I didn't know they were about to put a slaughterhouse here. I didn't know that they are putting up a gun range here. I didn't know that the 33 project wasn't moving forward. Well, who's responsible for telling us?
Yeah.
Well, if you go to your council and your council say, well, you know what? I didn't know either.
A lot of people don't really know who their council person is.
I do.
We know you do.
And I go.
So how can people find out who their council person is if they don't know, outside of maybe Google or ChatGPT?
I mean, which would
Because you
bring
could Google it or ChatGPT.
I mean, you could, but it'll still be confusing, right? Which is another issue why we need this board, this development board. A couple of years ago, I believe it was Common Council. Don't misquote me, but I believe it was Common Council changed the district ley lines.
Oh, gerrymandering.
Gerrymandering.
I love that word. I love that. Is it jury or Jerry? I don't know.
Gerrymandering.
But they janky mandering. This janky is all get out.
They janky.
Yeah.
Right? And then they did it right before an election period.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so things like that can't happen without prior notice, right? And the reason I think that this works is because it's not that it's not written into the process.
Right.
It's written into the process. Nobody's following it. So it brings back to who gets fired if we don't follow it.
Yeah.
Right? And this participatory budget gives us, how can I say it? Legal standing, right?
Okay.
If you don't do it, we can hold you liable, right? Legally, because this is law.
We like legalities now.
I like legalities, you know what I mean? Because processes have not worked for us, right? Processes allow people to say, well, it wasn't me, go talk to Sherman. You know what I mean?
And you pass the buck.
Yeah, and it'd be like, well, you know, I didn't say it. Go talk to Crystal.
Yeah.
Well, Crystal be like, well, I don't really control that district. Talk to who worked for me. Like, really?
Yeah, you ain't wrong.
Neither here nor there, right? It's a cycle that allows the regular person to be burnt out.
Right.
And then when they run across a unregular person like me, then my persistence is, what word did he use? Irritating.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, on a personal note, no. I always have to say this because whenever somebody is called irritating or annoying, when they're just being persistent,
resilience.
Yeah, definitely. I had to realize a moment where I was working on a project with somebody, and I was delaying on my part, and the individual I was working with kept calling me and texting me like, "Hey, what's up for a check-in?" I'm like, "Oh my God, you're getting on my nerves for being so annoying." And then in my mind, I was like, "No, you're annoying. You're the annoying one, Sherman, not her. And you didn't do what you were supposed to do. You're actually the annoying person." And so, like, that is usually that phrase to me, because I projected it, whenever I hear it, yes, because I know 9 times out of 10, that person who's using it is projecting. They're actually the annoying one trying to project and deflect and put it on you. Like, you're not annoying. You're trying to get something done.
Yes.
You're trying to get something done.
Just finished.
That's what I had to, this person is not reaching out to me I'm about to bother Sherman. No, they're like, I'm just trying to get something done.
But the difference between you and not all of our representatives, because I know some representatives that, we'll have conversations. She'd be like, Athena, or he'd be like, Athena, I know you holding my feet to the fire, but I need you to understand, right, that there are processes, right? And as a representative, they have to be like, okay, yes, I was wrong. This is what I can do. Or they can gang up on me and be like, go talk to Jonathan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And often, and no shade against our people, but definitely shade against the system, they undereducate us in Buffalo for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
We have a 7th grade literacy rate. So at a 7th grade literacy rate, how are you reading legal jargon? They don't expect you to read the handbook.
Yeah, and I ain't reading all this. This is too much.
It's
Get
not.
over one. It'd be a lot for me.
And so my thing is that if you're not going to read it, who's your trusted person?
Right. Us.
Right?
Yeah.
We have to do better with choosing our leadership.
Facts.
Not just because they're popular and we like them.
Or they got some material things that we want to have for ourselves and figure if we get close to them, we can somehow attain those material and social.
Dangling the carrot.
My bad. That was a little bit of a pivot for me, but.
But no, it's real because honestly, and I say this a lot in the conversation that I have with people in the community, Black Buffalo is a set of the haves and the have-nots, right? And sometimes the have look at the have-nots like, oh, you didn't pull up your bootstraps strong enough or you'd be where I'd be. And I say, no, they're literally not there because they're a gatekeeper. Well, I'm not a gatekeeper. Well, are you?
Right.
Is your response to persistence or resilience or pushing back
Or change.
or change? That's just how it is. The good old boy club. It ain't what you know, it's who you know,
Yeah.
Buffalo. No, it's not, because the handbook says, the law says,
Mm-hmm.
the requirement for you to get this funding legally without the feds knocking on your door says. So we can either move forward and you help my people not be in poverty, or we could follow the law.
Okay. No. So I love you, and I love this conversation. I just got a few things just to play the contrarian.
I love it.
So where have you seen this actually work at, and what kind of projects could people actually push for? So where you seen this participatory budgeting thing actually happen? Give me some places where it actually worked, because a lot of people might think this sounds like pie in the sky. So where has participatory budgeting actually worked at?
In Buffalo.
Ooh. Dun, dun, dun.
No, so
No, okay. Break it down.
And then, so it's okay. So I got here because I was doing a lot of the work with the Buffalo. Open Buffalo Emerging Leaders on the charter. So I went to the work groups and I listened to the things that our commission had problems with, right? But as a people first perspective, I'm trying to figure out, like, well, where's the community person on the board? Okay, it doesn't happen. So when we went to the finance budget, because what the commission did is that they broke the charter. The charter is 300 plus pages. They broke the charter down into sections, right?
Okay.
All of the sections dealing with the executive is under one chairperson. All of the budgeting and finance is under another chairperson. All of the commissions and boards is under another chairperson, right? And then there's a community development group. My first problem with that is that we have a 3-tier system that all works together, especially when it comes to budgeting, right? The mayor makes the budget, and then shout out, because our budget is coming out in a couple of weeks. Look out for that. Our mayor does the budget. Common Council approves it, but they don't approve audits or edits, right, of it. And then we have the comptroller, who's supposed to make sure our credit is good and make sure that the money is flowing where it should go. She should be the check and the balance for the money that's spent.
Got you.
And so analyzing a 300-page document and where these powers intertwine in different work groups is not, in my humble opinion, a good strategy to undertake the system that is Buffalo, right? So because of the time, like I said earlier, I chose to look at the work group where it comes to budgeting. Why? Because I'm interested in development. Why? Because a lot of the money that comes into Buffalo is for poverty and is for development of housing or services, right?
Okay.
It all has to flow through that financial budget process. Now, because we're in short time and I can't get everything I want, I have to choose what I think will best serve our people. I put in 2 requirements or 2 requests to the commission, to the group that's working with the commission, the public arena. 1, we need public input and support on all of the commissions, all of them, right? Not just one, all of them.
Okay.
Right? There has to be someone who speaks for the public, right?
A representative.
A representative
Gotcha.
that's willing to read the work, follow the rules, and hold people feet to the fire.
That's
right?
of and from the community.
That's of and from and live, work, and play.
That's right.
In the community, not one or the other.
That's right.
And so oftentimes these board members on these commissions have to live, work, or play in the community. Well, we all can come and go to the bar.
Sure can.
But that doesn't mean that you got to pay an increase 25% in taxes.
Right.
So these breakdowns come in a short period of time for this group of commission members to edit it, right? And so I'm looking for the maximum coverage for residents possible in this one iteration. If we had to do anything in this charter commission to help secure Buffalo's future is to have more of a voiced input in how the city is developed, right?
Mm.
All money goes through development. The Buffalo Billions.
Right.
The second round of the Buffalo Billions, the East Side Avenues. We've seen all this money come down to the East Side. Where is it?
I do not know.
Why nobody in the public knows?
And why aren't we making a bigger fuss about it?
I think
a lot of us don't know. We don't know what we don't know.
I think a lot of us know, but we're so close to the borderline of poverty that
Yeah.
we're scared that the people in power will push us over.
Mm.
You understand?
I totally understand.
And so if that means that in order to keep my job,
Yep.
even though it's not a high-paying job, it's paying my bills,
Yep.
in order to make sure that I'm not getting pulled over by the police every 38 stops, to make sure that when I call 311, they're coming to fix my stuff,
Yeah.
right? To make sure that when I go to this council and sign up for HEAP, that they not running me around or dragging me out.
Yeah.
To make sure that when I go pay my taxes, they not trying to eminent domain my property because I know I didn't pay my taxes last year. So if I fight out against the system, they're going to find a way within the system to break me. And that's why people don't speak out.
And I seen it done. I seen it done.
We watch it
I
done.
seen it done.
And we have short
seen it done.
memories.
I seen it done to people, kids.
To good people, too.
They're the good people. And if they can't get to them, they get to their kids.
And so these are tactics that work when we're separated. These are tactics that work when we don't have anybody to advocate for us.
Word.
You know? And I think that that's why I stand so firm on being the advocate. Long story short, getting back to it, I believe in participatory budgeting because we've done it before. Did it work? I think that it worked somewhat, but it needed some type of tweak, right? Because the participatory budgeting that we had went per council district and not the other way around. It wasn't like before we do anything, we have to go to the public. It's like after we're working on it, we'll ask the public what they think, and that's participatory.
Yeah,
that's not how it works.
That's not.
Right?
That's not.
And so this participatory budget proposal, I'm going to read a little bit of it.
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
Talk to the people.
And so the title that we sent to the commission says the resident control, participatory budgeting, and community approval for development, rehabilitation, infill, and corridor projects, right?
Okay.
And so this board, if you are doing any of those things, OSP, NFTA, you have to.
What's OSP?
The
People
Office
know.
of Strategic Planning,
Okay.
which in my humble,
A lot of folks don't know these
educated
acronyms.
opinion, I apologize, I know better than that. The Office of Strategic Planning, in my humble opinion, is the shadow government of Buffalo, right?
Okay.
They decide where's the money going, what's the plan. We got all this state money coming down. And for a long time, the money that's been coming down, I think, according to me looking at some of the board minutes from some of these allocating authorities, has been going like towards canal side. I actually did a research study where all of the like health equity information and all of the research from UB and Buff State says, look, you need to fix these things in the community, and overall it will fix the overall health of Buffalo, right? But the plans that the Office of Strategic Planning come out with is really worried about tourism, right?
Yeah.
When people visit Buffalo, where can they go?
Right.
Where are they coming to spend the money, right? Which is one way to develop a community, right? Bring people here so they want to see it, or you can support the people here so that they can build business. You can support the people here and build houses so that you increase the tax revenue that Buffalo gets every year. 47 houses bring how much tax revenue each year? Right? Now, it's not $1 billion, but you're also not getting that from tourism, especially during the winter months.
Right.
Nobody's coming here.
Unless you have one of them hockey tournaments at that thing they built down there that they had to keep renaming. because they can't keep a good tenant. It was 716, then it was Southern Tier, then it was now they can't. Yeah.
But you can't keep a good business if the people don't have the residual, the
Right.
extra income to pay it.
Right.
I'm not going to a hockey game.
I'm not. It's not for us. I do like the Sabres though. Shout out to the. I love the Sabres. I do love the Sabres.
And that New Jersey that they had. Oh my God.
But if it ain't the Sabres, I'm not watching.
It's not.
If it ain't I'm not gonna lie.
You be watching the Bills though. You be watching.
I love the Bills. I'm anything Buffalo related. If it's not Buffalo related, I really don't care.
Right.
So I'm not watching no random hockey people from place else.
But again, I think that the people who are making decisions for us are making decisions for affluential people.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is why
in my opinion, I agree too.
I adore Abel Rasmus. I adore her as a person, as a senator, as a legislator, for the things that she's trying to do for the community. And I say trying very heavily. The Buffalo Bills Stadium should have been in Buffalo.
Yeah, that's a whole episode.
But again, this is something to think that the development community board
that's part of the conversation,
push, right? We get to push community equity, right? We get to push that in order to build Buffalo, you have to bring tourism. Do you know how much tourism the Buffalo Bills bring?
I know we do got a lot of fans from Canada.
From Canada, from other states.
Yeah,
we fly to states, and so do you know how much
the mafia travels?
The mafia travels, you know?
Yeah.
And so when we're thinking about the status of Buffalo, right? The city, not the townships, not Orchard Park.
Right.
No shade against Orchard Park where all the nice, affluential people live.
Yeah.
But they're living off of the money of Buffalo as a city.
True.
Right?
Of the metropolitan area.
Of the metropolitan area. Mm-hmm. And so if Buffalo fails, guess who else fails with them? When Buffalo gets gentrified, guess whose jobs are going to be lost? Guess whose friends are going to be homeless?
Yeah.
Guess how much that mansion you just built on the other side of Main Street is going to be worth?
Yeah, it don't cost that much because there's one over here now. And it's not as exclusive.
It's not. But the reason that it was built, because I'm a junior appraiser, is because now that $1 million mansion now raises the prices of everybody else's house, right? And now it raises the community prices. Even though they took a loss for building it there, right? It's the peak of gentrification. I didn't even really understand too much about the system that was going on and how fast we were moving towards gentrification until a couple of years ago, duplex sold on Woodlawn for $400,000. Oh,
yeah.
Not redeveloped. Nobody's touched it. Nobody put no money in it. You know what I'm saying? They sold it so that $400,000 price could be on the MLS list.
Right.
And now that you have a house in that community for $400,000, it's going to raise the price of everybody else's house in the community. Right. So now when you raise my house prices and then you raise the assessment, right? We went from 50% assessment to 100% assessment. So they actually didn't raise the taxes because, like we're going through now, he would have to put a memorandum up and say, I'm raising it more than 2%. They didn't do that because we had an acting mayor. What they did was they did the assessment and raised it to 100%. So now we're paying 100% tax on the amount of your house.
Okay. So, again, talk to me like I'm your cousin at the cookout. In its most simplest terms, with everything that you've just shared, what's one thing somebody can do this week to get involved? Is it something that they can attend? Can they follow a page? Can they sign up somewhere? Can they talk to their neighbors? Yes. What can people do?
It depends on what their flavor is, right? But there's a couple things that
give them a menu.
Give them a menu, right?
Yeah.
So I received an email earlier from Block Clubs That Care. Okay. On, let me make sure I'm giving you the right date and time. On Tuesday, April 14th.
Okay.
So this is next week, Tuesday.
Okay.
There is going to be a town hall meeting at 5:30 at the Cold Springs Free Spirit Church, located at 107 Verplank Street.
Okay.
Okay. It's an hour-long discussion, and it is about, let me use their words, let's talk shaping the future of policying and policing together.
All right. So if that's a conversation that you feel like you need to be a part of, then you need to be at that spot on Verplank on the 12th of April
Yes.
at 5:30. So anything else that folks might have an opportunity to engage with this spring?
Yes. So also Monday the 13th, the city commission will be having a public commission meeting, letting us know where they are with the city charter.
Okay.
Emerging leaders have submitted the participatory budget to them, and we have also submitted a letter to the Buffalo Common Council because the commission a little ratchet.
Ooh.
It's a little Jerry Springer-ish. You know what I mean?
That's my hero.
I know, I love it though. I love
My
it.
hero.
It's a little Jerry Springer-ish, but nonetheless, while it is entertaining to watch, chosen commission members fight about what's best for the public, it's not helping us, right? We need to make sure that they buckle down and get it done. They have to look through the 300-page document. On top of that, I urge everybody to look at the Common Council meetings, right? Yeah. A lot of the things that go on that you hear me talk about happen in the Common Council meetings.
How often do the Common Council meetings happen?
The Common Council meetings are every week, Tuesday.
Every week?
Every week, Tuesday. And they go live on Facebook, and you can go in and put your comments in and be ratchet and not have to be ratchet in person.
The same way y'all want to do with Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty or who's ever on Love and Hip Hop or 90 Day Love Fiance something. I'm not bad, y'all. I forgot I'm at work.
And it's just as juicy, though.
Ow.
It's just as juicy, okay? Ow. And so what I think I've been trying
See me in the comments on Tuesday, y'all.
See me in the comments.
Yes. Join me in the comments on Tuesday.
I'll be there. But on top of that, I think that I've been trying to work on trying to get like a little synopsis out because I can go in and I can read the notes and then because I be nosy, you know what I mean? I be clicking all the buttons. But I can kind of tell people like what's going on. I think it's important, especially the Ellicott council member came out and said, oh, well, y'all had a public meeting and nobody was there. Right? You please go check out Leah Halton Pope's page about our last Common Council meeting, about our CBGB funds, our community grant-based development funds, and how we were not aware that our community services, including like the CAO and other people that provide the services, are losing that money. So they're taking money from our community services, they're closing down our community centers, and they're cutting off access to youth jobs.
Oh, man. And we know what happens when you cut off the jobs for the youth. Again, streets is always hiring.
The summer is here, and it's going to heat up.
It is. Unfortunately, for the young people without structured time.
But it's our job as a government to provide that. It's our job as parents.
To invest in the next generation of citizens.
And that investment is there, right? You have the $10 million. What are you doing?
Invest in the next generation. It's smart. It's actually one of the most self-serving things you can actually do.
It's actually a core survival mechanism.
It really is. It really is in your best interest to make sure that the next generation is set up for success and that they have a strong affinity and relationship and sense of responsibility to you for setting them up.
Who's going to take care of our seniors?
Right.
Who's going to take care of us when we're seniors?
Right.
Right? But also with that, participatory budgeting is important because it gives us a voice again, right? We also have to do our part and make sure that we're putting the right people in those places, right? We also have to make sure that we're going to our trusted sources. Make sure y'all looking at the Health Equity Center data. Make sure y'all checking in with Sherman. Come look at my page. I be sharing all the gossip. I will do better in making sure that when I go and I look at the Common Council meeting or the finance meeting or the development meetings, right? All of these meetings are decisions that are being made on our behalf. When people say, well, how are all these stores popping up in our community, no matter who owns the store,
right?
They're popping up because your councilman allotted it.
Yeah, somebody greenlit it. Absolutely. Everything that you want and need or see, you have to go through somebody else, or it came out of somebody else's mind, or somebody signed off on it. It stuff just don't happen by no accident.
They don't.
And it does not happen independent of other people.
They don't.
It's just impossible. We're all interconnected, intertwined. I really appreciate this too, because like you're bringing like out like the natural community health worker in me. So like we talked about like the and the emerging leader in me too.
Yes.
So we talked about the public narrative. And when we do our community health worker training, shout out to Connect and the Community Health Worker Network of Buffalo. We like to end our trainings with, what can we do on our own?
Mm-hmm.
What can we do with the help of somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
And like, who can we hold accountable for what? And so you are giving tremendous examples of self-accountability by saying, whenever you have the ability to attend these meetings, you will not only attend these meetings, but will bring back information in a digestible way and share it on your platform. So that's something. Yes, right. Something that you could do something that you're doing on your own, right? Something that you could do with somebody else, which is one other person, that sit down, have this conversation with me, have these kinds of conversations on this platform. Not only are you educating me, because I wasn't in that room to get the information, you were. So now, not only do I know, but every one of you who sat back and watched and enjoyed this conversation that we had and shared it with your friends and got into the comments and hit that like button and subscribe to this, now they know. Now, and it's in a way we're giving it to the people where they're at. Because not everybody can pull up. So you're also telling us who, what, how, and where to hold these people accountable. And so for me, that is truly the root of asset-based community development and how we actually move forward. So I encourage each and every one of you, get into the comments and consider, what can you do on your own as an individual, like my sister Athena is doing? What can you do with the help of at least one other person, right? And who do you need to hold accountable for something? The example I like to give is, if my community is filled with litter, I can make sure my yard is clean. I can reach out to my neighbor and make sure their yard is clean and our block is clean. But it's not my job in this city to load up my car with trash and take it down to the city dump.
So I can do you one better. You and your neighbors can get together and give some of these youngsters $10 or $15 to keep the community clean. Keep them out of trouble. Put a couple dollars in their pocket. We're paying the taxes to the city to do it. We can pay our youth to actually do it.
These are the kinds of creative conversations that only take place when you sit down and have fellowship and build. And that's what we have to do too. And so also, the other thing that we're doing here with the Buffalo Center for Health Equity and in every organization that I work with is we're creating that third space in between work and home, where we can build community, where we can build relationships through shared experience, because community is rooted in common unity. So like, what do we have in common that unites us? And if we're having this same shared experience, we both in this same boat, the same thing is happening to both of us. What's good for you was good for me, so let's work together. And we're so bogged down with, I have to do the administrative tasks at home and family and parenting and adulthood. Then I have to do the survival tasks of attending work and maybe other medical or legal appointments that I may have. So then I got to rest and eat. So when do I actually have time to become civically engaged and involved and to educate myself? So we're trying to create these opportunities and platforms because we've been privileged enough to be in a position where we can do all of those things, and we can't be in every place at once. So it's up to us to continue to share this information.
I'm going to share, and I'm glad you allowed me to share.
Oh, yeah, this is the First Amendment.
Yeah, I just asked that people sign a petition, y'all. Y'all see a petition floating around, petitions matter.
Facts.
Right, change.org. I know we all be on there like, oh my goodness, like change.org is a real petition.
Yes.
When you see your people put up petitions, please sign them. It's literally, when you see your people share stuff that's informational, please like the button.
Get that in your algorithm. Get that in your
Yeah.
algorithm too.
Oh, we gotta talk about algorithms.
Yes, that's gonna be on the next episode.
Yeah.
I don't know if
For
this
sure.
gonna-
Thank you for having me.
Oh
I
my God,
appreciate you.
my sister Athena, I appreciate you pulling up. Let people know where they can find you at on social media, so they can follow you, so they can stay up to date with everything you got. Drop your social medias on folks. So
I'm
they
an
know.
80s baby, y'all. I'm old, so I really be on Facebook. So you can catch me on Facebook.
Me too.
At Athena Cotton, that's the last name, Cotton. And you can catch me on Instagram, I believe, as Dr. Thena, Thena.
Yes, doctor,
Yeah.
soon to be doctor. I love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
I'm writing a dissertation, so I would love to incorporate some of this into engineering and how we can really
Dope.
change the world.
Dope, man. Dope. And I'm looking forward to this spring. So this spring, y'all can look forward to seeing me out on the streets, maybe with my sister Athena and with some other people, hitting the different council districts and having different conversation with folks to really see not only what are some of the challenges, but what are some of the opportunities and resources that are present in our community. So for the Buffalo Center for Health Equity, I'm Sherman Webb Middlebrooks, lifelong Buffalo resident and full-time black man. You can follow me at the full-time black man, Sherman Webb Middlebrooks, on all social media platforms. And in the words of my hero, the late, great, honorable Jerry Springer, y'all out there take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, that was a good
my
episode.
brother.
Yeah, that was fun.
I'm sorry I didn't stay as focused.